Tips for winter fishing. Now, I love my winter fishing. We're always so busy back at the shop in the summer that I don't really get many hours to fish in the warmer months. But when the winter comes, I've generally got a bit more time and there's a lot less anglers on the bank. The fish are all in really good condition, they're generally at their biggest weight, and I just love being outdoors in the winter. So what I thought I'd do is I'd run through a few tips that will try and keep you more comfortable on the bank and keep you catching a few fish. Firstly, the choice of the venue that you're going to pick for the winter. I've wasted so many winters in the past fishing for one real big one on a lake that just shuts down in November. Absolute waste of your life. There is more to life than just sitting there and freezing your bits off in winter. Pick a venue that's got good winter form. Generally speaking, the shallower venues are much better in the colder months, and that's simply because they respond to the sun. When you get them nice low pressures coming through and it's a bit warmer, the water comes up a degree or two, and when the sun's on it, that always helps. So pick a venue that's got good form. Don't go for a really deep weedy venue, they just don't seem to fish. All the water's out sort of North Ants type way, you know, North Ants, Peterborough, they tend to just switch off in the winter, they're not really that good. Try and pick a venue that's got good winter form. Keeping warm on the bank. It's probably the biggest thing about winter fishing. You start out with great intentions, you go for 2 sessions, freeze your bits off, then you can't be bothered to go again. Wear a good woolly hat, treat yourself to a good fishing suit, one that keeps the wind out and the rain out. If you get wet on the first day you get there, you're going to want to go home. A good choice of footwear as well. I've still got the original Ski-Tex boots, I love them, some nice warm socks, and a really good sleeping bag. If you're going to stay out and fish the nights, you're going to need to be warm at 3 o'clock in the morning when it's absolutely freezing cold. Now, I've been out and bought a new bag recently. It cost me $89.99. It's brilliant in the winter. There's loads of good bags out there. You don't have to go and spend 200 quid. Buy a good bag, make sure you're safe and warm. And lastly but not least, make sure you've got a hot water bottle. Now, people laugh when I get out my little fluffy moo-moo, which is my little cow-shaped hot water bottle, but it just keeps you so warm, you know, in the middle of the night, and I get up and redo it again early in the morning, keep my feet nice and warm. And on really cold days, I even tuck it inside my jacket just to keep me that little bit warmer when I'm on the bank. What about bait? Well, bait is a minefield in the winter, and if you ask 3 different people, they'll probably give you 3 different answers. But all I'll say is, if you're the only person fishing the lake, or there's only 2 of you, you need to up your bait levels. Them fish will keep feeding if you keep feeding them. They'll keep looking for bait all through the winter. And if I'm going to fish a place regularly, once or twice a week, I'm going to make sure that when I leave, I'm putting out plenty of bait, just to make up for the fact that there's no other anglers there putting out bait. Now, if you go to somewhere like Linear Fisheries that's really busy, you do not need to do that. So I would say do the absolute reverse. Pick a bait that's got good winter form, something like our Snowberry, that's designed for cold water use. And bait accordingly. If everyone else around you's filling it in and they're blanking, don't put any out. Just fish a solid bag, or even better, a single hook bait. A single hook bait in the right place is better than anything else in winter. Now, just recently, one of our field testers, George, he was at St John's at Linear. The weather was freezing cold. Everyone around him was piling in loads of bait. So he rang me up and he said, I'm going to go in with absolutely no bait at all. Well, he played an exact card, because that session he had 12 fish up to £37 when everyone around him blanked. So bear that in mind. If you go to these places, you don't need to take loads of bait. Travel light, concentrate on getting on the fish, fish with very small amounts of bait, PVA bag, stick mix, little pop-up, anything. One in the right place is better than 10 kilos in the wrong place. Winter location. Location is the be-all and end-all of carp fishing. The best rigs and the best baits in the world are useless if at the wrong end of the lake. Now, in the winter, location is not as easy because they're not crashing around as much, they don't fizz up, you don't see them swirling through all the weed beds. You can go to these lakes and not see anything all winter. But quite often, I've found in the depths of winter, the fish tend to show just after dark, and quite often just before first light in the morning. That's not often the time to get a bite, but it's often the time to see them. And in the winter, you only need to see one fish, and you can guarantee there's others somewhere in the same vicinity. Keep your eyes peeled. One of the best winters I've ever had came from a sighting where I saw a load of birds spook and I thought I saw a carp. Managed to get in there, the following day, put my rods out, I had such a good winter, and if I hadn't have seen that fish flick over and then bird scatter, I'd have still been fishing all around the lake and probably caught nothing. So the other thing to mention is the fact that maybe it's the time to do a social thing. Now, me and my friends, we don't often run into each other when we're fishing in the summer or in the spring. We're off doing different things, we're all really busy. When the winter comes, we all like to get together, and I think that's a real positive aspect of winter fishing, because it keeps you keen. You know that your friends are going to be there. You end up eating slightly better because you all want to sit around and have a bit of a cook up. It keeps a little bit of bait going in, and it makes winter fishing enjoyable. And I think that's the bottom line, isn't it? Winter fishing needs to be enjoyable. If you go there, you're dead lonely, it's freezing cold, you're bored all night long, you're only going to make 2 sessions, and that's going to be the end. Choose some good mates, stay warm, eat well, get your baiting applications sorted, and make sure you're fishing on a venue with really good winter form. Get out there and enjoy the winter. The fish look amazing.